friends, how's it going? So this week I had to film a voiceover because the original video here is too chaotic and these nails were just too cute not to share. So anyway, I'm going to get started and gather my materials. I'm using my Apre Almond long cover tips and I'm sizing those babies out, making sure that they fit sidewall to sidewall. You don't want any gaps around the sidewalls or cuticle because you're more likely to have issues with lifting if your tips are too small. So if the next size up is too big, you should file it and shape it down to fit your specific nails. Try my best to explain my soft gel tip application process to you because my way seems to be a little unconventional. I start with dehydrator. You don't always need to use this. You can just use isopropyl alcohol instead. They're pretty much the same thing. Next up is primer. I have a non-acid primer. I do know that there are acid and acid-free primers. One is meant to be used as more of a bonder, and the acidic primers can be used for etching. Now, I'm not a licensed nail technician, so there's still so much I don't know about products, but I am trying to teach myself in the meantime. Anyway, more on primers later. Next, the standard application process calls for base gel following primer. This one is pretty thin. I'm just trying to use it up really, but if you are starting out with bare nails, you want to use a nice thick base gel. There are plenty of really good ones out there, especially Korean brands. Those will cost you a little bit more, but it's worth it if you ask me, if you're wanting to help protect your nails and wear your extensions for weeks. This is the glue gel I use to adhere my cover tips. So I'm going to begin my nail prep by pushing back my cuticles with my metal cuticle pusher. You want to be gentle when you're doing this. I know that when we first start doing our nails, unfortunately, many of us do end up hurting ourselves during the process, but we should be working toward a painless application as we get more practice. No step should hurt aside from the occasional heat spike, and accidents do happen. I hurt myself every now and then, but as I said, it's good if we're working toward a painless application. Next, I'm using a cuticle remover. I really like this one. I feel like that has made a big difference in my process. I just added this step to my routine recently, and the retention of my sets has been excellent. Just scrape up the dried bits on my nail plate and then scrub around the sidewalls and cuticle with a lint-free wipe and isopropyl alcohol. There's a bit that I need to take off with my cuticle nippers, so I'll do that. But since I like to do my nail prep right after I remove my last set, there isn't much to nip off. I like to remove the shine off my nail. I actually have a generous amount of base gel on my nails already, and all of that is on top of product that I leave behind from past sets. You don't always have to remove every bit, especially if you're just going to change up a set or do an infill. I feel that leaving some product behind also helps protect my nails. So you can see here, I'm only lightly buffing and scratching the nails so that the glue gel has something to grip onto. here's where my process differs from the standard application, because after you've applied the hydrator and primer, you'll then add your base gel, etch your cover tips, and adhere with glue gel. So I skipped the base gel only because I already am working on top of a generous amount of base gel on my nails, and I don't want to add any more bulk under my cover tips. So after I've applied my primer, I'll add primer to my cover tips. Some people call this etching, others say it's not etching when you're using a non-acid primer. When you're using a non-acid primer, you're basically just adding a sticky surface which can help with adhesion. If I did my sets immediately after I removed my last set, then I wouldn't really have to add the primer on top of my base gel, but I usually remove my sets one day, do all of my nail prep, add my base gel, and then I remove the inhibition layer, which is that sticky layer once the base gel is cured. I remove that because I don't want to have sticky nails, obviously. And then I apply my extensions the next day. And since I no longer have that inhibition layer, that sticky layer that helps with adhesion, I basically create a sticky layer on my nails by using my primer. Then I add primer to the underside of my cover tips and apply them with my glue gel. I do have to warn you though, this is a process that has worked for me and has worked with the products that I use. It's always good practice to follow your product specifications. I'm just sharing what I do and why I do it. I haven't had any problems with adhesion or retention. I've been doing my nails at home for the last 2 years or so, and I've gotten to know my products and how they behave on me. But if you want to follow the standard method of application, you can do the following. You'll want to use your dehydrator, primer, and base gel. Then etch the underside of your cover tips with your file or e-file and use your glue gel to apply your extensions. That sticky layer, that inhibition layer that is left behind once you cure your base gel is going to help with your adhesion. And you always want to make sure that your cover tips have been etched. This is major because otherwise, if the glue gel has nothing to grip onto, they're basically going to pop off. So this is what I do. I just add a slip layer of glue gel onto my nail. I'll also add a little bit of glue gel to the underside of my cover tips, and then I pop them on. I flash cure and then do a full cure. Once I've applied all of the extensions, I'll move my hand into the bigger nail lamp that I have and cure for 60 seconds. Once they've been cured, I like to go around the sidewalls and cuticle with a lint-free wipe and isopropyl alcohol to remove any of the sticky layer that might be peeking out from the exposed cured glue gel. And this is in preparation for some filing that I'm going to be doing. I do like to go around and blend the cover tip onto my nail bed really well. And I do that either with a hand file, my e-file, or a buffer. Sometimes if I'm feeling up to it, I'll use all three, but it really just depends. I just like to make sure that my cover tip is nice and blended onto my nail bed. I also like to apply a clear top coat under the nails. This just ensures that everything is nice and sealed under and that I'm doing the best that I can to prevent any greenies from happening. This also helps the cover tips look a lot neater, in my opinion. So as I said, I'm just going around with a buffer, trying to blend everything out. I also go in with a regular hand file to remove that little piece at the tip of each cover tip that might be sticking out. It's like a little piece of plastic. Sometimes I might get a little impatient, and I do find that the e-file works a lot faster, and I basically use it at its lowest setting, which for me would be 3 RPM, and I go around the cuticle just blending everything out. And now I just wipe everything clean, and in order to seal the cuticle and sidewalls, I just make sure to go in with a nice thin coat of base gel. Alrighty guys, and this is what I have in terms of a sketch for this week's design. So the day that I recorded my cover tip application, I did stop at base gel, as you just saw. So since this is the next day, I'm going to go and just remove the shine with a buffer. I'm gonna wipe it clean really well because I don't want any dust or anything that might disturb my gel application. And I'm gonna go in with this really pretty nude, kind of peachy gel. This is from Yogurt Gel. I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to add any base color. Ultimately, I felt like it was better to have just a nice wash of color. So this nude was perfect for that. So once it is cured, I'm going to wipe off that sticky layer and I'm going to add a coat of matte top. And this is just in preparation for some airbrushing that I'm going to be doing. Airbrush paints typically stick better onto a matte surface. So for me, this is an essential step to airbrushing. And I just do a really thin coat, nothing that's going to add too much bulk to my nail either. So I got my airbrush out and now I'm adding a bunch of white and a tiny drop of blue just to give myself a nice kind of baby blue leaning toward periwinkle kind of color. It's really pretty. I really liked having these nails in this color. I think the color just lends really well with the overall vibe that I'm going for, which is more of like a Cupid, Valentine's-y kind of situation. And I'm basically giving myself some French tips, but I'm doing so in a gradient. So as you can see, I still have that peachy nude kind of peeking through. And as you get closer to the tip of the nail, it just starts to look a lot more saturated with the blue. And I'm not too worried about my paints getting onto my skin. These are water-based acrylics, and so they're not going to do anything weird to my skin. And right before sealing those paints onto my nails, I'm just gonna go in with my hand file and file the free edge to help prevent any chipping. So I just give a very generous coat of base gel to seal everything in. I also like to work with 2 nails at a time, so I'll add the base gel to 2 nails, cure, and then add base gel to the other 2, cure, and then I'll do my thumb last. This just helps ensure that the base gel doesn't run all over the place. The room that I work in is pretty warm, and once the base gel gets warm as well because of my body heat, then it's just gonna start getting a lot of a looser consistency. So working 2 nails at a time is a lot easier and helps me from getting any base gel onto my skin. Alright, so for the design, I'm basically going to be using primarily stickers. These are super cute stickers that I pulled out. They're kind of like a Cupid embossed type of sticker, kind of vintagey looking. And then I also pulled out these other stickers, which I don't end up using, but I thought I'd pull them out just in case. And I'm basically just kind of playing with the composition for each nail. So on some nails, I'll just use 1 sticker, kind of make it the focal point. Other nails, I use 2 to 3 stickers, just kind of playing around again, you know, with composition. It's something that I really like to do with stickers. Whenever I'm adding a bunch of them on, it's just so fun to find the right placement and create almost like a little scene on each nail. As you can see, I pulled out a few other things that I don't end up using, but I picked out these glitter stars. They're not shiny or anything, they're just matte white stars, but they're super tiny, and I felt like they went really well. It's a very celestial vibe that I have going. I like to add a nice coat of base gel just so that I can go ahead and place these stars onto. Then I cure, and then finally go over that with my Bandi mirror top gel. This is a super nice top gel that I have. It actually came in the Aurora Glaze Collection from Bandi. I really enjoy it. I feel like it makes a huge difference. It's super shiny. It just makes my sets look like they're brand new for days. So yeah, as I said, I just added 2 coats, and even though this does kind of flatten out or smooth out the stickers, I don't really mind that, considering that I was mostly using the stickers just for the subject matter, not so much because I wanted an embossed kind of design. So yeah, I'm okay with them smoothing out. This also makes them last a lot longer, considering that you're basically encapsulating the stickers onto your nail. Alright, and that is basically it for this design. I'm really happy with the way that these nails came out. The set looked super cute, very appropriate for the upcoming Valentine's-y kind of season. I've seen so many Valentine's Day sets already that I just wanted to hop on right quick and throw one together myself. So here is one of the very many, I'm sure, that I'll be working on during the Valentine's Day period. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a like. It does help out my channel so much, and I'd really appreciate it. If you want to hang out with me in the future, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.